This is one of those videos that it looks like I've got everything in control, and today we're going to talk about how to best create videos, especially if you're looking to start creating screen capture tutorial videos. And here's a little secret. I'm not in control. I'm constantly scrambling and improving the quality of my videos, hopefully, step by step, by adding layers of experience, research, and when I can fit in the time, practice to ensure that the videos get a little bit better each time. And this week, I got called out twice. Once when I asked for it from a member of my community, and they provided some great constructive feedback on one of my courses. And secondly, from someone who was just downright frustrated with the presentation of one of my screen capture videos. And the truth is, they were both 100% right. There are often caveats to every piece of feedback. And if we start asking people for opinions, then adapting and adjusting to every single one, we're probably going to end up with our heads spinning and going round and round in circles. However, we often need to be alert for changes and tips of how to improve the quality of our videos, because at the end of the day, platforms like YouTube are brutal. You don't need feedback through the messages to know whether your videos are working or not. I'm in this for the long haul. Slow, steady, continual growth is absolutely fine with me. But here are some of the things I've learned that I'm going to try and implement into my videos. And we're going to start off with Wiggly mouse syndrome. This is what I call the scenario where your mouse is wiggling around the screen more than it needs to. And one of the viewers who watched one of my videos who really struggles with ADHD has enlightened me on what that actually means. It's essentially a form of torture. As my mouse is moving around the screen, hey, I talk with my hands, so that transfers across when I'm using the computer. But if I'm not mindful and it's just moving around all over the place, what's happening is certain viewers will follow the mouse cursor and automatically expect the cursor to be attached to what I'm saying at that time. And because I'm both a motor mouth and someone who talks with their hands, that's the perfect recipe for a chaotic video. It's something I've known about for some time, and it's something I have been working on, but I still need to improve on it. And as my mind's been drawn to the content that I'm delivering and the volume of content I need to deliver to help people in things like our school communities, information in the description, then there's probably a good chance I've taken my eye off the ball in terms of the presentation of that video. So now is just a good time just to take stock and look at ways of how I can train myself to improve the video quality. And what really helps is I've been recording these type of screen capture tutorial videos for probably 4 or 5 years consistently, 3 years plus with a real YouTube channel. And having gone through that process, it should be easy for me now to start focusing on the delivery and improving, because I can think about that process because I'm so comfortable with the rest of the presentation, the rest of the delivery. When I was starting out, it would probably have been too much to take on board to fix all of these things at the same time. The answer to this one is I just need to suck it up, reprogram myself. And as a little side note, I used to get really prickly when I would receive feedback. I was one of those designers who would send things out and just say, please be honest with what you're thinking. And then when they say something back that's not entirely positive, I would start to bristle and think, well, I didn't want their opinion anyway. I asked for it. I need to take it on the chin. And as I've got older and grouchier, I think I've become much better at that. So that's the aim here. Take it on the chin. Look to improve. I'm going to have to retrain myself, reprogram my brain and how it works a little bit to be a bit more empathetic about ADHD users who number in the millions. Even though I can't adjust my entire video content to be accessible to every single person, I can certainly always strive to improve it incrementally and help more people, because that's why I'm here. And the second point of feedback is also screen capture, and it's very heavily related to the first one, again, speaking with my hands. And that is I tend to scroll and flick back up and forth when I'm talking about the content on a page. It's because I'm excited about sharing some of my experiences and some of my designs with you. It's done completely innocently, but I can understand how that becomes really frustrating. Off the back of that feedback, I went back and looked at my videos and presentation side, and it was like a glass shattering in my mind. I could see just how much of this fast, shaky scrolling was happening at the start of a video. And frankly, that would put me off. Again, I promise I will try my best to stop doing that. I'm going to become self-conscious about it at first. That's going to be part of the process. But that's the beauty of recording videos, is I can edit them afterwards. So I can always retake a section if I feel that I'm scrolling like a madman. And now we're moving on to some separate feedback. A client I've been working with for several months. She packaged it really neatly, really positively in the overall presentation. But I'm looking for the points to work on. And whilst it's really nice to have positive feedback, the things I'm looking for now are the areas that I can work on that could be transferable to other pieces of content and for the wider audience that I think I can fix. And one of the challenges, I don't know how much I can do with this, because it's a balancing act between efficiency and speed of creating videos, the time it takes to add things like jump cuts, cut-ins and B-roll, all of the extra layers that we add to our videos, potentially sound effects, to get it from A to B smoothly. So one of the pieces of feedback I had several months ago is that people didn't like the background music. They found it was jarring with the content. That's why most of my current videos don't have any background music at all. If it's not needed, and if the content is helping you and you're happy with the presentation, I'll just keep it out. But the next point I'm going to talk about is jump cuts. This video I've recorded as a one take. If I mess up a section, and you'll be amazed how often that happens, Descript, the video editor I use, transcribes and creates a script for every video I record. And I'm very proud of myself for this one, so I'll share it with you. I use continuity camera on my iPhone 15 Pro. That means I can record on the highest settings on my phone and then wirelessly send all of that data to Descript, which is installed on my MacBook. I need 2 Apple devices for this to work. But it's a really quick, efficient way of recording because I'm trying to remove as many barriers as I can. I don't want a scenario where I'm thinking I'm just going to put that video off because it's too much hassle to set up. I need a system that I can set up really quickly. I've got my iPhone on a gooseneck adjustable stand that's slot up behind my main monitor when I'm not using it. But it means that within 5 seconds, I've got the physical setup all ready to go. And it takes me probably another 5 seconds to get set up in Descript to hit the record button. Of course, I do some planning and I add some notes, so I've got some structure to the videos, but I want that physical setup to be enabled really quickly. What that means is that I record once with some basic crib notes. I'm not perfect in my delivery, far from it. So there'll be times where I will repeat the same passage 2 or 3 times, pick the best version, and then stitch it to the section that came before and the section that came after. And that will create what is called a jump cut. It will jump from one clip to another one and then back. If I keep my head really still, you may not notice it. But the problem is I can't keep my head really still because, again, I'm quite creative in the way I communicate, which is problematic. So what I do instead is I will hide all of these blemishes, these imperfections with what we call cut-ins. So I might zoom in 10 to 20% between those 2 cuts and then zoom back out 10 or 20% afterwards. But sometimes you can be cutting in and out too much, and that becomes really hard to keep up with. In fact, it'll probably give people motion sickness. What I'd also do then is I'll hide B-roll over top, and sometimes I will just let the jump cut stay as it is. Sometimes I will even just grab the section in between if there's been a long pause between 2 sentences, and I might just speed that up to 2 speed to see if we can get it smoothly transitioned to keep the pace up on our videos without cutting between them. And I've even created a load of keyboard shortcuts and macro processes on Descript on my Mac that allows me to do this quickly. For a 10-minute video, I can probably get that fully edited in about 45 minutes, meaning that I can set aside an hour in the day and have a new video live on YouTube. And the screen capture tutorials, if I stop wiggling my mouse cursor, will be much quicker than that again, probably down to about half an hour for a 10-minute video. That efficiency is really important to me because it is the difference between creating content and not creating content. But at the same time, if I can instill these tweaks that I'm talking about today, and by creating a video on it, I'm hoping it'll make me more accountable as well, because I need to practice what I preach and not become a hypocrite. And if you're just starting out and you're thinking that you need to create video tutorials for your clients, it's a great way of getting information across to them quickly and efficiently. For example, we used to have Squarespace handover workshops, which were tutorials of how to use the Squarespace admin with our clients. And it would take about 2 hours and they would forget 90% of what we cover. We don't have the time for them to go away and spend time and then come back with questions. So what we do now is we've got pre-recorded tutorials and an induction course that's again pre-recorded. And if a client's paying us top dollar, we will do that in person as well and give them an orientation, a flavor for what they can do with the website once it's already built. That's so much easier and so much nicer when we know we've got a library of tutorials backing this up. So I would say, don't panic about the presentation quality of your videos to start with. If you have 0 experience in doing this, probably not going to be great. That's okay, because if it helps one other person, that allows you then to continue to develop your videos, that will really help. But there's one little statement that always sticks in my mind when I'm starting out with new things. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. I think it's an old military saying. Take your time with your first videos and the processes, then you will become faster naturally as you go through the process several times. But also, you can then concentrate on time-saving techniques and hacks as you become more experienced and more comfortable, which is why I can talk about some of the annoyances that I'm doing with my videos. And I apologize because you're probably going to see them in future videos as well, but I promise I will do my best to refine them. And that's mainly because it's underpinned by experience of creating these videos in the first place. And here's a little secret in terms of my video production that will split my audience. I set my videos, like this talking head one here, to 1.1 speed. And this is because for YouTube content, for videos around 10 minutes, it's about the pacing. We need to get our hook in right at the start to draw our audience in. Then we need to deliver on the promise constantly throughout the video. I promise I'm going to cover this in this video. Then we deliver on it constantly. And we need to do it at a tempo, at a pace that our audience like. So I like to split videos into 2 modes, performance mode and comfort mode. And probably a third one, which is TikTok and YouTube Shorts, which is probably Formula 1 mode, where every single fraction of a second counts on those videos. 10-minute video, that's not the case. We've got a little bit more time to get under the skin of the challenge or the project. At the other end of the spectrum, we've got long-form videos where it could be a 3-hour course, TED Talk, or a live podcast where your audience tend to settle in and come along for the experience. So you can have a few ums and ahs and everything's fine for that. So very few, if any, jump cuts needed. But for this format at 10 minutes, what I found is that people generally respond to videos that I speed up to 1.1 speed, which is a tiny bit faster, but it just allows it flown from A to B. Some people will say that my videos are too fast. I'm from mid-Wales. We tend to speak really quickly here, and that becomes a problem. At one hand, I'm speaking too quickly. On the other hand, need to speed it up to get some more tempo and flow in my videos. What do? Well, I use horses for courses. If it's an introductory tutorial on how to do X in Squarespace, I will play it back at 1 speed, and I'm trying in my mind to only talk about the steps as I'm going through them, slowing everything down. But if it's a demo showing what you can do in Squarespace to keep the pace up and keep the flow going faster, because I need to keep my audience engaged when they've got so many other options that they could choose. It's a balancing act, and I certainly haven't perfected it, but that's what I'm doing. But now it's over to you. I'm going to put a poll out on our community on both SKOOL and on YouTube via the community section, and I'd really like to hear what you think. Should I focus on speed and tempo in the presentations, or should I look to slow things down so you've got time to practice? Really interested to hear what you think. Hope this video has helped. If it does, hit the subscribe button. Also, pop across to Pixelhaze Academy. I've made a huge number of changes in the background showing how we can help you to make your designs look better, start using resources like Descript, and I've got a load of tutorials coming up in the future on that platform. If you want to take control of your own website, or if you want a career in the creative industries and need a helping hand to get you started. I've tried my best to overload you with value on free stuff via our free membership. As you have more confidence in the content I deliver, there is options for our DIY community at $15 a month or our coaching community at $97 a month. If you're coming back to these videos regularly, you'll already know about all of that. So what I'll say is I'll keep plugging away at improving these videos. Please keep coming back with suggestions on how these can be improved and how I can help you. And I'll catch you next time. Cheers.